Hey gang, welcome to this episode of No More Strangers. We are now getting close to the end of Season 1, which will conclude with Episode 20. Don't worry, we will be back, and I've got a lineup of guests for Season 2 that I'm really excited to share with you. I won't oversell it, but I've heard your feedback, and I think that you'll enjoy what's in store. For this episode, I'm releasing something a bit more bite-sized, and it features a conversation I had with Chris Sorensen, a friend that I made during my trip to the Monroe Institute in April of 2025, who had some pretty wild experiences and was willing to share them with us. Most people that I talk with about their out-of-body experiences have them occur during sleep or otherwise altered states of consciousness, be it meditation, medication, or in Peter's case in episode 18, stress response. Chris has had these experiences due to medical reasons, specifically the phenomenon known as vasovagal syncope, which I was wholly unfamiliar with prior to this conversation, and it raises some questions which, in spite of spending time researching the phenomenon, I still find myself lacking satisfactory answers, but which point to potential physiological predicates for the experience. As I move this show forward into Season 2, I would like to reiterate the mission and goal of the show, getting to explore our lives through the understanding of the lives of others, finding the common threads between us, and in so doing recognizing that there is one less stranger in our lives. If you enjoy this content, have questions about it, or even just want to tell me what I can be doing better, please reach out to me directly at the email address in the show notes, in the comments, or even on my social media placements. A lot of you have been doing exactly that these past few weeks, and it's helping me immensely, so thank you. With that out of the way, I really hope that you enjoy this conversation and can take something away from it for yourself. My name is JT Erickson, and this is No More Strangers. And we're live.
It's going.
It's going. Chris Sorensen. Really appreciate you sitting down with me today, man. Yeah. So just for reference, we're sitting here in lovely Faber, Virginia, at the Monroe Institute, and you and I met just a few days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about who you are, Chris.
Well, my name's Chris Sorensen. I live in central Pennsylvania, and I work in IT for a software company. I enjoy doing anything outdoors, backpacking, hiking, rock climbing, fishing, all that good stuff. And when it's wintertime, skiing, tinkering around with electronics. I have a 3D printer, so I do a lot of that.
Yep.
Just messing around with just electronics in general.
It's a lot of stuff with your hands, a lot of
Yeah.
sort of getting in the weeds on some cool stuff.
Yeah, some woodworking projects and stuff in the winter. Stuff that I can do like inside.
So you're kind of like a rugged guy in this case. A little bit. Yeah. And Central PA, you kind of got to be.
Yep.
Yeah. But so we're, like I mentioned, we're at the Monroe Institute. And it's, I've been talking with a lot of people here. Everybody's got, I think, really interesting stories as to what brings them here.
Yeah.
And you were telling a couple of us a story yesterday that I thought was really fascinating. And there's a little bit of a lead up to it. You mentioned vasovagal syncope. Do you mind, and pardon anybody listening, I think this seems to be a predicate to some of his experiences. Chris, do you mind telling us a little bit about that and how you came to understand what it was and how it's affecting your life?
Yeah. So initially, basically, I was in fourth grade. You want to go on fourth grade?
Sure.
So in fourth grade, we were sitting in a classroom. This was, I can't remember the years. It was a long time ago. But we were sitting in the back of the classroom, no AC. It was hot, real hot in the room, and my friend made me laugh, and I smacked my funny bone against the back of the chair, and I felt this like tingly feeling go out through my arm. And I looked over at him, and I felt like there was like something wrong, and like right when the tingly feeling like went through my whole body, it was like someone snapped their fingers, and I was sitting in this like love seat essentially, in my parents' house with my dead cat next to me.
So wait, you were sitting in a fourth grade classroom, one of those little desks with the attached
chairs.
chair
Yep,
and the
yep.
wood and the metal.
Yep.
You hit your funny bone, and now you're in your parents' in a love seat at your parents'.
Yep, in my parents' house. Like legs out on the ottoman, dead cat on the right, petting him.
Right.
And as I was sitting there, I looked down through my legs, through the ottoman, and it was kind of like a not a fuzzy window, but it was like a window with like blurred edges around it, but the middle of the window was very clear, and I could see like my body on the ground, like through the building in the elementary school.
Whoa.
And I was like flailing around, looked like I was having a seizure.
Right.
And all these people were just over me. And I remember saying I kicked my shoe off and flung it across the room. And shortly after that, it was another like someone snapped their fingers again. And I was back in my body. And I looked up and everyone was over me. And my shoe was across the room. And then I just started crying, like involuntarily just started crying. I didn't know what was going on. And so that was pretty wild. And then I got sent to the nurse's office and they were like, yeah, you seem fine. And they went back to class.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you had what appeared to be a seizure.
Yeah.
But you're fine.
But all vitals were fine.
Okay, cool.
So come to find out, that's kind of what this like vasovagal syncope like is it's like you pass out, but like all vitals are immediately restored to normal within like seconds after you regain consciousness. So that's
okay.
Down a little ways. But so after that happened, I didn't really tell anyone about it. I just thought it was really, really odd. And then I've had a few other incidences of that happening throughout my life. Some due to like dehydration, a couple due to like very like traumatic events.
Sure.
Up until the one a few years ago where I was flying back from Seattle and the flight was at like 4 a.m. It was like really early, so we had to get up at like 2 a.m. And I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. So for some reason I set this jarring alarm. Like on the iPhone, it has like this standard alarms you can set. It was like the siren.
Because you want to make sure at 2 a.m. you wake up.
Yeah.
Like
because no one wakes up at 2 a.m.
Not, yeah.
There's people that do.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was not going to wake up. And plus I was on Pacific time.
Right.
And I'm from the East Coast, so I was like early dragon. And so I wake up. My wife's already up for some unknown reason. She's like in the bathroom. And I get up, and it's like a panic. Like, because that alarm, usually when I wake up in the morning, it's like cortisol will skyrocket for some reason.
Sure.
So I wake up, I'm like in a panic already. And for me, like flying in general is like never a good experience, regardless of if this stuff happens or not. It's just like you gotta get up early, get to the airport. It's rush, sit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a hurry up and wait kind of scenario. So I got up, I stood up really quick out of bed, and immediately got like really lightheaded. Felt like I was gonna puke within like 10 seconds of like getting up.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so I rushed to the bathroom, and my wife's there sitting on the toilet, and I'm like, get off the toilet. And she peels off the toilet, and I go to like grab the toilet, but like right as I see my hands go in front of me, I pass out and I black out completely. And I smash my face against the toilet, bash my nose open, just blood all over the place. I wake up on my back, like blood, and like not really knowing where I was.
Right.
And so I was a little scared for that. And my wife's seen this happen before, so she kind of knew it was happening. So she was helping me with all that. And I go to stand up again, or I like sit up, and I pass out again. And at this point, she's like, we're not getting on that plane. Like, we're going to delay this for a day so you can like collect yourself. I'm like, all right. Yeah. And so she calls the airline. They're like, we can delay or we can get you on a new flight in like 2 hours. So like it'd be like a 7 a.m. flight or something like that. And I'm like, okay, let's do that. And then the lady was like, it's going to be $400 extra. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. So I'm like, I want to grab some water, get some granola in me, or some food at all, some kind of light. Got that in me. We headed to the airport. So we get to the airport, come to find out that there's no one at the desk until like 4 a.m. So everyone that was there is just like waiting there in line until these people show up at the desk to check in, get your tickets.
Meanwhile, your flight is at 4 a.m.
Meanwhile, it's at 4 a.m. So we were confused. We were like, what's going on with this? And so I go over, sit down on one of the benches, still feeling like crap. Shortly after sitting there for a little while, I'm like, I gotta get to the bathroom. I feel like I'm gonna puke again. I was nauseous this whole time, and so I get up, start walking to the bathroom, or where I thought the bathroom was. There was no bathroom, and then at this point I'm getting more and more nauseous. So I'm like picking up my pace. I'm like running to this trash can, and there's a guy like kind of leaning near the trash can. He looks at me. He's like, dude, you all right? And I'm like waving my hand, like, get out of the way, get out of the way.
You're in the splash zone, bro.
You're in the splash zone. and I just grabbed the trash can and just hurl everything into the trash can. And he got all grossed out and ran off. And after all that, I felt a little better. I mean, usually when you're feeling sick and you puke, you usually do feel better.
Yeah, and some of this almost sounds like a post-concussion.
Maybe,
which
possibly,
after cracking your head like that, so maybe it's a combo. I'm not trying to.
It might have been.
Not a doctor.
Yeah.
But I mean, that doesn't sound like what you just. Is that similar to the vasovagal syncope effects as well, or is it just because you bounced your head off some porcelain?
I do feel nauseous. Like,
okay.
Whenever all that happens.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So that lined up, but the with the back-to-back passing out thing was not normal.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, boiled chunks in the trash can, and then I go to lay down on the tile because it's nice and cool, and cool myself down. I'm like sweating profusely at this point. I lay down on the tile, and then I black out again, like very briefly. It was like a really quick thing. Come back again, still feeling like crap. I lay there for a little while. My wife comes over and she's like, hey, we need to get going. Like the plane's ready essentially, or they open the gates. The cattle can start going through.
Yeah.
And so I get up. We get through security. We get to our terminal, and I'm like, I need to get some water in me. I just like blew everything I had out of me. I go to the vending machine and I go to like get a Nature Valley granola bar and some water. And my card gets declined. And I'm like, oh no, I don't need this. And looking through my wallet, and I had another credit card, and I used that. That went through, thankfully. I got some water in me, got some granola in me.
And all of this is building up small stressors that just keep adding up and adding up and adding up.
Yeah. So like I said before, like the hurry up and wait kind of thing. Like that's how I felt. And I'm not a morning person either, so that just combined onto all this was not good. So we're sitting there. They start calling the group numbers for the plane. We get on. I sit down, and it's like hot as hell on the plane.
Yeah.
Usually is. We're in the way back. It's just my wife and I next to each other, and then another couple like to the other side of me. And so we're sitting there. I'm just kind of like sweating, and I'm just kind of like breathing, trying to like regain control. And the plane starts taxiing down the runway, and right as it started to take off, you know how there's that like right when the wheels lift off the ground, there's that like drop.
Yep.
Kind of a little bit feels like a roller coaster kind of thing.
Yeah, your stomach kind of falls out if it hits quite right. Yeah.
Yep. So there was this drop, and right when that happened, I passed out again. And And so when I passed out again, it looked like a seizure a little bit. And like I said, my wife has seen this before, so she kind of knew what was going on. But we were just taking off, so we couldn't call an attendant or any of that. We just dealt with it pretty much. And so I came back to these only, like I said, these only last like a few seconds. Right. So it's not long. But I came to, and we keep climbing up, and I start feeling really bad. Obviously still bad. And I go to grab one of the barf bags because I'm feeling really nauseous. So I grab one of the barf bags, and right as I grab the barf bag, I pass out again.
Good Lord.
And so it's like boom, 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 back to back. And right when that happened, I had an out-of-body experience, and I was like essentially floating above the plane, like looking down, looking like through the hall and all the passengers, and it kind of looked like a Dementor, like just kind of flying like that, just kind of with the plane the whole time.
Yeah. Which is super interesting that you stayed sort of attached, sort of spatially with the plane in that instance.
Yeah, I thought that was really odd.
That's interesting.
So this was like one of a few times this has happened, and I just thought it was really strange.
Yeah.
Looking down at everyone, and it wasn't very, like, I was pretty far away from the plane. It wasn't like I could like make out who was.
You're not walking on the outside of the wing or anything like that.
I was a little bit away from the plane. But that only lasted like a few seconds. So then I apparently what happened is when I passed out, when I went to grab the puke bag, passed out, my head went back, and I like tensed up, because like whenever you have this stuff, you just tense up. So I tensed up, my jaw locked, and my tongue went back like towards my throat.
Sure.
And then I also started like puking. And so my wife saw this, and she had to essentially grab my face, pry my mouth open. While it was pried open, kind of hold the barf bag and like lean my head forward.
Props to your wife.
She did this all within like seconds.
Champion.
It was nuts.
Absolute champion.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris's wife.
She was very, very concerned afterwards.
Yeah.
And so yeah, she did all that, and like it all landed in some landed on my pants and stuff. But when I came to, I was like covered in sweat, and I felt like absolute crap, and I look over at her, and I'm like, did I shit myself? And I'm like smelling around for like smells, and she's like, no, you're fine. And I'm like, I am completely drenched right now. Like, I had to have done something. And she's like, no, you're fine. Turns out I did pee myself, because whenever this happens, you essentially like lose body control.
Yeah.
So I had to sit in my own pee the rest of the way back home. So that was not fun. But
God, your poor wife. I mean, I know, terrible for you. That sounds awful.
But for her, for the person on the outside, it's more scary.
Right.
Because they don't know what's going on.
Right.
So whenever I came to and everything, all that, we called an attendant over, and we were just like, hey, he's not feeling well, like he needs something. And she looked at me, and she like obviously saw like I passed out. She knew I passed out. And so she went and grabbed me an Alka-Seltzer tablet.
Yeah.
Never had one of those before. They taste terrible.
Yeah, I feel like usually you put them in water.
She did. She put it in some water.
So she's not a monster. Okay.
No, she's not a monster. No, she put it in some water. But they tasted terrible. But it like immediately made me feel better.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Yeah.
So I was able to ride the rest of the ride out to Denver, which is where our layover was. And then we were flying from Denver back to Pennsylvania. Yeah. And we went over to like the concierge desk for, I forget the airline, one of the major airlines, but explained the situation. And the one lady was so nice, and she was able to move our ticket or move our flight to the next day at 10 a.m. And I was like, man, that's great. So we got a ticket, we got a hotel. The Denver airport is kind of weird. Like it's a little weird. There's nothing around there.
Right.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Well, I'm not touching that right now. I agree. It's a little weird, but also weird. It's so weird. Far removed from the city. It's like a 15-minute drive.
It is. Yeah. So we got an Uber and drove way out to a hotel, got some food and all that, and just kind of took it easy the rest of the night. And then the next morning we woke up, and the flight was at 10 a.m. So we got up a little earlier to make it there, and I was perfectly fine.
Cool.
Like, no issues at all. Felt totally fine. No anxiety at all. And made it home successfully. So that was good. So after that happened, I was like, I need to figure out like what's going on.
Yeah, that's a concerning series of events for anybody.
Yeah. And so after I got back, I had to fly to, I think I was going to Scottsdale, Arizona, for work. And this was kind of like a mandated thing. Like I had to do it.
Yeah.
And so, but this was kind of like right after all this happened.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, all right, we'll see how this goes. Similar experience happened.
Wait, seriously?
Similar experience happened. And then I didn't want to get back on a plane to fly home.
Right.
So we had a layover in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I flew from Central PA to Chicago, which is a really short flight.
On this work flight, but you still passed out a few more times and
passed out once. And,
okay.
and the pilot like wanted to divert the plane immediately, and I was like, no. So he apparently gunned it up to a super high altitude and
let it
full throttled. And we got to Chicago in like an absolute record time.
Nice work.
That's pretty cool. And then he landed at some emergency gate. Yeah. And everyone got off the plane, and they were like, yeah.
Yeah.
They were all happy.
I love that. I love that. And so this led to you. So did this lead to you going and talking to the doctors?
Yeah. So after all this happened, I was like, something's happened here. Something's wrong. So I went, and I had a pretty good relationship with my doctor at the time, and she knew of like the past experiences, and I explained what was going on. I recorded every single incident of this happening. And then I got my wife's input on it and all that, and wrote this big document up and gave it to my doctor to have some kind of historical data on this. And so I got a whole bunch of tests done. Had to wear this EEG for 4 days straight.
Wow.
Couldn't take it off. That was really weird. Yeah. Got a whole bunch of tests done. Everything was perfectly normal. No issues at all. And she mentioned Vasovagal Syncope as like a possible thing, and I started like looking into it, just from like just on the internet, and then on like Reddit on other people's experiences, and it was like to the T. That's like what it was.
And other people on the, I don't know, I'm assuming it's a Vasovagal subreddit or Syncope subreddit.
Yeah.
And other people had also experienced out of body responses.
There were some other people that did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was kind of like a whole side thing. So there was like the medical side of thing. I was like, why am I passing out?
Not to downplay that very important element.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably this. And then I was like, in reading and talking with other people, I found out it's just basically due to like regulating your nervous system. Basically, your vagus nerve is getting like overstimulated in certain situations, and like that's your response.
Got it.
Is flight. Get the hell out of here.
But flight in a wild fashion.
Yeah.
And you referred to it the other day, I think, as fainting goat.
Yeah, like a fainting goat syndrome.
Yeah. So not to make light of it.
Not as bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like very stressful, specific situations that happen.
Okay.
So basically, when that happened, like in 4th grade, from that point on, I've tried to avoid any kind of stressful situation. I've done a pretty good job at it, but there's some that you can't avoid.
Right.
And so after like looking at like all of that and like what might be causing it, can't remember how this happened, but I stumbled upon the Gateway Tape subreddit.
Right.
And started reading into that, and that's where like the meat of the out of body experiences are happening.
And it started to click.
And I was like, oh, I should explore that too.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with that?
Having maybe some of the potential benefits of I would, in my experience, mitigating some of the stress response in the system anyway. And a lot of people use it expressly for, these gateway. Robert Monroe recorded all these tapes and worked with a whole team of people, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of these, in my experience, like I just said, help to mitigate stress responses or reduce fight or flight, which is something that's very personal to me too. And so maybe in your case, it has a sort of twofold benefit.
Yeah, like a dual purpose.
Yeah,
exactly. So like, I've never been one to like do any meditations or anything ever, and so I started getting into that, and I started listening to the tapes, and then I was like, I should like, and so then I looked up the Monroe Institute and realized it wasn't that far away from my house.
You didn't have to fly.
So I didn't have to fly. Yeah. So I was like, I should book a week and go down there, and I did that last year, and it was a magnificent experience.
Yeah,
it was great. So I did that, and one of the trainers, I was explaining like kind of why I came there, and one of the trainers said the program that you and I are at is directly geared towards like regulating your nervous system, and he said that would be beneficial to you.
Right, and just for a record or reference, we're at the Conscious Coherence.
Yep.
And there's a lot of integration of body, heart, mind, and a lot of very nice, very peaceful, very sort of wonderful meditations that we've been doing this week.
Yeah. So I think this definitely has helped a lot, and I think going forward, just practicing this as much as possible, I think will help.
Yeah.
So the next adventure is in July. The next flight.
Oh, good Lord.
So I specifically, my theory is I think this is relating around like early morning flights.
Yeah.
Or early morning anything, essentially. Because I wake up with anxiety and all that. So I specifically booked flights for like the very late morning, early afternoon.
Sort of midday. And are you planning on
regulate down?
Absolutely. So you're not having that early morning stress response and then moving quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are you considering doing some meditative work or listening to some tapes ahead of, or integrating it that way?
Yeah, definitely. I plan to continue doing this when I get back. Definitely within the days leading up to it.
Yeah.
Still doing that, and maybe even on the plane too.
I'd be super fascinated if I mean, I'm sure we'll be in touch, but I'd really like to hear how that flight goes too.
Yeah.
Like if whatever protocol you put in place is supportive of it, and I'm sure the folks on the Vasovagal Syncope subreddit would like to hear it too.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll report back to them. It sounds like you have relationships there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it should be good.
Yeah.
Hope everything works out.
Same, brother. Chris Sorensen, thank you, man. I appreciate you sharing this, and it's so interesting to me to see like also real world applications for this beyond just, I mean, in your case and in many cases, stress management, but your needs in this regard being a little bit more, how do you say, pertinent.
Yeah. Than just regular daily stress.
Right. Yeah. Very cool. Well, again, thank you so much, Chris.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being on.
Yeah.
And I'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Hey, gang. Thanks for listening to the episode. Just in case folks were wondering, I reached out to Chris as I was working on finishing the episode, and the flight, in his words, went flawlessly from a passing out perspective, but from a logistical perspective, it was an absolute nightmare. He and his wife are swearing off any flight that isn't direct from here on out, and for what it's worth, I can't say as I blame them. I hope that you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks when I share my conversation with Travis Brown, a competitive Magic the Gathering player and streamer, as well as a sharp observer of the world. Until then, I hope that you are finding connection with people, and that after today, you have one less stranger in your life.